President Trump is threatening to send the U.S. military to Nigeria to stop the slaughter of Christians.
Beachgoers in California were shocked after a massive deep-sea fish mysteriously washed ashore.
New piece of Alaska's history has been found on Kodiak's wind-battered Shuyak Island.
Look at your newsfeed. You saw the cross appear in the clouds over Florida. You felt the darkness of the total solar eclipse sweep across America. You heard the roar of Yellowstone's geysers. But what the media isn't telling you is how these events are linked. The ocean is glowing with an unearthly light. Deep-sea creatures are crawling onto U.S. beaches, and in a hidden cavern near Mexico, 10-foot-long bones have just been uncovered, bones that defy history. For centuries, these signs were called myth. Now, they are proof. And once you see the secret buried beneath the ice in Antarctica, you will understand why the Earth is screaming. History is not ending, it's repeating. Is this the countdown? Before we continue, subscribe for more discoveries where faith meets archaeology, and don't forget to turn on notifications for our next revelation from the Holy Land. The cross that appeared on Good Friday 2025 was dismissed as a trick of light, an optical coincidence, but it was immediately followed by the total solar eclipse. Daylight vanished across the United States, cities dimmed, birds fell silent, the sun bowed at noon. The Bible records darkness like this only twice, once at the crucifixion, and again as a prophecy of the final day. America stood in the shadow of ancient scripture. This was not merely science, this was a divine reminder. Just moments after the darkness lifted, heaven answered in fire. The Texas sky lit up with a brilliant emerald green streak. It cut through the night like a blade drawn from eternity. Onlookers were silent. The air burned with a shimmering flame unlike anything seen before. It was so perfect, so vivid, many called it the blue sword. The ancient words of Ezekiel came to life right over America. A sword, a sharp sword, bright as lightning. This was not the red flame of war or rage. This blue light symbolized purification, not destruction. It was as if heaven had drawn its sword, not to kill, but to cleanse. Texas, the land of awakening, had become the pulpit of the divine. The fire did not roar, it whispered, and in that whisper the heart trembled with remembrance. Jesus once said he came to bring fire to the world, not of chaos, but of renewal. For a moment, all eyes turned upward, believing they had witnessed a vision once confined to parchment. But if the sky is preaching, what is the earth saying in response? The answer was buried deep beneath the ice. As the sky lit up, the earth itself began to stir. Its icy silence was finally broken after thousands of years. In the Nunlik tundra of Alaska, the melting permafrost revealed a 7,000-year-old settlement, a village buried in ice since before recorded history. Perfectly preserved wood carvings and ceremonial masks emerged from the frozen ground. Archaeologists called it a miracle of preservation. But there's a disturbing truth here. As they uncovered the past, the land beneath their feet crumbled. The ancient village began to sink into the sea. It was as if nature was forced to give up its secrets, only to watch them disappear again. The Bible warns, if they keep silent, the stones will cry out. The ice that once sealed history is now melting, bearing witness to a generation that has forgotten how to listen. Yupik elders tell of a great flood that swept away their ancestors, a legend eerily similar to the story of Noah. Perhaps the melting ice is not just climate change, it is conscience. The earth remembers what humanity has forgotten, and just as the icy north began to speak, the ocean stopped waiting. From the hidden chambers of the Pacific, the sea began to stir, not with typical storms, but with life rising from the deep. Along the coasts of California and Oregon, beachgoers were shocked. Giant sunfish and even ghostly anglerfish with glowing lures, creatures that normally live miles below the surface, were mysteriously washing ashore. Oceanographers tried to explain it away, talking about pressure changes or undersea currents, but to those who saw these ancient creatures rising from the shallows, another message was whispered. The sea speaks. The Bible warns that when creation begins to groan, the fish of the sea will perish. These creatures feel less like science and more like a memory. The anglerfish, with its inner light, looks like a torchbearer from another world. The giant sunfish drifts like a broken seal between heaven and the abyss. The ocean, long called the hidden land, is the one place humanity cannot conquer. When its ancient life surfaces, it carries the echo of the Great Flood, a time when the boundary between sea and sky was erased. But the ocean had an even greater revelation coming. As if answering the voices from the deep, the ocean itself began to glow. Off the coast of South Carolina, satellite images revealed a breathtaking sight. Waters shining pure white for hundreds of kilometers, a radiant band of light stretching far into the Atlantic night. Fishermen described the sea as glowing milk, shimmering as though it had swallowed the moon. Scientists called it a milky sea, a phenomenon caused by bioluminescent bacteria. Yet even experts admitted something was different. The glow was too vast, too uniform, too alive. It wasn't scattered flashes of light. It was an entire sea transformed. This was a phenomenon whispered about for centuries by sailors, now confirmed by satellites off American shores. And God said, "Let there be light." And now the sea where creation began is shining again. This light is not the soft radiance of dawn. It burns with a cold brilliance, as if heaven itself were casting its reflection upon the waters. This milky sea stands as a living prophecy, reminding mankind that the world was once shaped by light. It is a holy warning shimmering across the face of the deep. But the trembling did not stop at the water's edge. The earth itself began to roar. In 2025, the heart of America turned to Yellowstone. The great supervolcano, long dormant, erupted not in fire, but in water and steam. Geysers exploded higher than ever recorded. Jets of scalding water pierced the sky, and pools of boiling mud churned violently. It wasn't a cataclysm, but a warning. Beneath the crust, temperatures had risen, forcing nature's vents to cry out. The mountains melt like wax before the Lord. The boiling ground became a visible parable, a living symbol of purification. The land was not breaking apart, it was breathing, shaking, preparing. Thousands of miles away, in Hawaii, another sign appeared in the breath of the sea. Without warning, the ocean along the coast began to recede, exposing reefs that hadn't seen sunlight for centuries. Minutes later, the sea returned, rising like a towering wall of water. Locals filmed in disbelief, calling it the second flood. Hawaii stood between two extremes, the fiery mouth of Yellowstone and the living wall of the returning sea. Fire and water, chaos and calm, destruction and renewal, all dancing to the rhythm of divine orchestration. The world is trembling, and it's not in vain.
Near the dense jungles bordering Mexico, an archaeological team uncovered a discovery that left seasoned researchers speechless. Deep within a limestone cavern, they found skeletal remains more than 10 feet long, alongside carvings of winged beings and a six-pointed star. Their size defies modern human anatomy. To some, it was just an anomaly, but to others, it echoed something far older, something written in the earliest pages of Scripture. There were giants in the earth in those days. The Bible speaks of the Nephilim, creatures of power and pride whose corruption led to the flood. Their existence was the reason God commanded the cleansing waters to rise. Now, as the ancient ground opens up, the past refuses to remain buried. If these bones are genuine, they are more than relics, they are warnings. They sound a bell that pre-judgment history is re-emerging, whispering across the ages. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. The sky declares it, the sea reflects it, and now the earth testifies with bones that defy belief. But the deepest secret of all is not buried under the soil of Mexico, but under the ice of Antarctica. Antarctica, a land shrouded in mystery, has become the center of an extraordinary revelation.
We have proof that something massive is hidden miles beneath the ice near Mount Vinson. This secret was forced into the open after a massive underground nuclear explosion triggered shockwaves that reached the frozen continent. Scientists picked up unusual readings, anomalies hinting at something extraordinary beneath the icy surface. What was found? Insiders quickly confirmed reports of a huge black pyramid hidden inside the mountain rock. Douglas Muckler, a former U.S. Army employee, documented the revelation only to watch as all evidence was immediately wiped clean. The local news station denied any knowledge. The footage vanished. Powerful entities and defense contractors are working desperately to suppress this information. Those who resist, like the hesitant technician who verified the events, face threats. This structure is not natural. It hints at a long-lost civilization, or something far worse. Psychics who claim to have accessed the pyramid speak of highly sophisticated alien technology inside. Investigative journalist Linda Moulton Howe received a secret tip confirming the pyramid's unusual energy. Her source, a military insider, revealed that the U.S. government has been studying the structure since the late 1970s, attempting to harness its energy for technology. Bruce Pearson, the son of a retired sailor, recounts his father transporting heavy mining equipment and witnessing tunnel construction guarded by armed troops at the remote Antarctic location. This isn't just theory. Linda's insider was later visited by men in black suits who issued stern warnings to abandon the investigation or face severe consequences. The power guarding this secret is immense. Why the desperate silence? The pyramid is linked to ancient indigenous lore, stories of advanced sky masters and angelic entities radiating blinding light. This connects directly to decades of UFO sightings over the continent. Reports date back to the 1930s, fueled by rumors that the Third Reich sought ancient alien technology hidden beneath the ice. Even Operation High Jump in 1946, a joint mission by the U.S., British, and Australian governments, reported strange phenomena, including flying discs hovering near their planes. The Black Pyramid is the final piece of proof. From the burning skies of Texas to the glowing seas of the Atlantic, from the frozen silence of Alaska to the hidden secrets of Antarctica, one truth now resounds through all creation. The world is no longer silent. The prayers of believers, the sword of fire, the awakening of the sea, the trembling of the ground, and the rising of the ancient bones are all threads in a divine pattern weaving toward fulfillment. The earth shakes, not in destruction, but in anticipation. The sea rises, not in chaos, but in remembrance. The sky burns, not in fury, but in glory. Creation is groaning, but it is not the groan of despair. It is the cry just before new life. These signs are not endings, they are beginnings. They are the trumpet blasts before the dawn. The message is not wrapped in fear, but in mercy. God is not striking, He is calling. He is not destroying, He is reminding. The question is no longer if Jesus will come, but whether we are ready to meet Him. Every shaking mountain and glowing wave declares not ruin, but redemption. But the Black Pyramid of Antarctica, the source of unimaginable power, is still guarded. What technology does it hold that they are so desperate to keep hidden? And what ancient winged beings will emerge from the ice when the structure is finally revealed?